Hey everybody, I have been planning on making this video for a while. And part of the reason that I haven't done it yet is that there's a lot going on in my world and just I have so many stupid reasons. One of the reasons why I didn't do a video at the time was that I was worried it might jeopardize my job because of the fact that my job had taken every Marilyn Manson thing that they had and destroyed it without any facts or anything, which really pissed me off. I actually hadn't started there till after they did that. I returned to the company after a 15-year hiatus, and yeah, there's so many wrong things with that. I did not understand that. That's the problem. One of the big problems with the MeToo movement and the whole thing, all of it, and these women that come out with no proof whatsoever. No proof. Not a sliver of proof. Just what they say. And people are like, oh, well, she's a woman. She's not going to lie. Where the hell do you get that? Women lie all the time. Lying women are the reason that I've been so selective about women as my friends in my life. I have dealt with crazy bitches. And I'm not like a woman hater. I'm all about girl power just as next as the next girl. But the truth of the matter is there are bad people on both sides. Both sides. I saw someone very close to me's life get completely ruined, at least for about 15 years, 10 or 15 years, when a so-called friend of ours said that he raped her. And it was bullshit. And we all know it was bullshit. I know it's bullshit. It's a long story. And I will tell it, but I'm not going to say the people's names. And I will say that I think karma caught up with some people in this story. But, it's unbelievable. I was ostracized from my group of friends when I sided with the person that she all of a sudden cried wolf on about being raped 3 days later when she went to a bar and he was there. And the real story is basically that she wasn't supposed to have any males over at the house, and she got caught by her boyfriend who was out of town, best friend, and it's all this drama. And she lashed out at my friend who she had taken to her house and he did not know where he was. They had been drinking before they even picked him up, and it was her and her friend was trying to hook up with him, which is really weird because the ties to me with this is really strange because this person was an ex-boyfriend of mine, and weirdly, one of the people ended up marrying an ex-boyfriend of mine, and the other one was in a long-term relationship with my husband at the time. Like before we were together, they were together. So there's like this weird like degrees of separation with these people, and this person had a very public job, and it affected him, and it affected him deeply. And I knew, because we dated and we were very close, I knew that what was being said about him was complete bullshit. And she last minute decided to try to win me over with a phone call to warn me about him. And I was like, I'm on to you. Like, I already know that this is bullshit. And what happened was she had attacked him when he called her out on, why did you do this to me when you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to have a million. They let him on and all this stuff. And her friend that was supposed to hook up with him was like too drunk, and he's like, I'm not going to do that, like, because he's a good guy. He's not going to take advantage of a girl that's too drunk, even if she claims she wanted to do things with him. He's just not that guy. And so this girl attacked him, and he told her, stop, you're being out of line, you're drunk, you're acting out. And he's like, warned her if she did it again, he was gonna block it, he was gonna protect himself. And she attacked him again, and he deflected her, and she bounced off of him. And he knows martial arts. It's not like he can't throw down. He blocked her, and she was very thin and small and was a fragile girl, of course. And she flew back, and she hit her side of her ribs on the oven, like on the little bar that sticks out of the oven. And so she had a bruise. So guess what? She filmed this bruise, or she took pictures of this bruise and was using this as proof of her abuse. And he left at this point. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm done. Like, this is fucked up that you're doing this to me. He left in a neighborhood that he doesn't know. He didn't have a car. He was stranded there. Well, 3 days later, again, she runs into the bar. A bunch of our mutual friends are there, and she cries rape to everybody. And everybody was ready to kick his ass. All these people were about ready to kick his ass and everything, which, if it was true, I would have been there too, if it was true. But that's not him. And it pisses me off that I don't know if it was she didn't want to get in trouble with her boyfriend or whatever. And it's not like there wasn't a repeated history of her like cheating on her husband, on like other relationships. Like, it just, I don't understand what it was. Here's what it is. Some people, they see a pretty girl that maybe they think, oh, if I show my affection or whatever, maybe there's hope for us someday, or you know what I mean? They see this like weird connection to this pretty person or this beautiful person. But to quote Marilyn Manson, the song The Beautiful People wasn't about beautiful people. It was about, you know what I mean? Think about it. Just think about it. I'm not going to go into all this stuff. There's so much more I got to touch on. Another problem I have with this bullshit story that Evan and her fucking... I'm sorry, I'm mad. I'm going to cuss throughout this at times. I have watched this man who has only ever had a goal of pushing the boundaries of art and taking it further and making people question what they think they know. And the whole concept of two complete opposites of like I can't think of the word. Hang on just a second. The dichotomy. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It just popped in my head when I was going to look it up. Anyways, the dichotomy of good and evil, or and what they create. And like, that's where the name Marilyn Manson came from. He took the sick fascination that American culture had with serial killers and murderers, where Charles Manson, and that's what the whole commentary of the movie Natural Born Killers was about too. Like, the fact that people romanticize these characters. They were treated like pop stars on the cover of magazines, and we know their names but not the victims. It's all this fucked up shit that's absolutely true about American society. So this fascination that people have with these serial killers, and how Charles Manson was like the one that everyone was livid about, even though it is stated that he may have actually participated in a killing, but he more or less was the ringleader. He was the cult leader behind the idea that all these people did these acts from his words. He's a dangerous person. And then Marilyn Monroe, who was this, actress, beloved model, all these things, but then she had her dark secrets too. So, it's really crazy. And so it was the whole concept of Marilyn Manson was to take these two dichotomies and put them together to sort of mimic the whole idea of heaven and hell, God and the devil and all these things. And that's what Marilyn Manson is. And when you have played this character, whatever, it's not even a character, it's like a part of his personality, and like, just like how I dress up wild and stuff, this is part of who I am. This is how I express myself. It's how I feel comfortable. It's one of the reasons I've always related to Marilyn Manson. I have always felt we are fucking kindred spirits. It makes me sick to my stomach that these girls that don't deserve this guy have got to have these close relationships with him when I've got to shake his hand when I was 17. That is it. I was just a kid and just in shock. And when there is crazy weird coincidences, like the whole tarot card thing that I had dreamed about like a year before he even created. Now, that was weird. There's a few weird things like that, weird connections. And I'm not saying that's the only reason that why I believe him. I believe him because I have followed this man for like 20 7 years, something like that. I followed his life very closely, and never once has anyone ever said any of these kinds of things about him until this whole conspiracy's been cooked up. And I find it so convenient that all these women have these exact same details, and they're very, very exact details, very weird. And there's absolutely, a year has gone by since they cried this. And at first I was like, holy crap, like I thought, I didn't want to believe this is true, and I couldn't go there just on my own, but I thought I will be open, and I will read and look at, what evidence and what things they present, and all I saw was bullshit and more bullshit. And the deeper you pull at those strings, more bullshit came out. And my stomach's growling. And the way that their stories, when they get called out or asked deeper questions, especially ever since Manson threw down his lawsuit, the way that at least Evan so far in interviews starts acting really erratic, and people are, oh, well, she's a victim. Bullshit, she's a victim. I'm sorry. She, first of all, met him when she was 19. They dated when she was 19. She apparently, well, it's rumored that she had a relationship with Edward Norton prior to that. And she does talk about calling him and talking to him and all these things. I don't know. I don't know what that history is. But it is rumored that they had a relationship. And he's the exact same age as Brian Warner, Marilyn Manson. They were both born in 1969. And he met her years before, when she was a minor. I mean, I don't know when or if they actually dated or what. I just know that's what's been said. Although there's been lots of people like that. It seems to me that she lacks her own identity. And whoever she's with, she changes to match them and to define herself with them. And I've known people like that, where they get around me and they feel like, oh, well, I gotta act goth or she's not gonna like me. And I'm like, or punk or whatever. And I'm like, I don't care what you look like. As long as you are true to yourself. That's what I care about. It does not matter if you even like the same music, anything. I just want to have a person. People are my friends because they have good hearts and because they are true to themselves, and for all different reasons. I like a variety of people, and I've never been one. And it always bothered me that people would think that of me when they watched me get persecuted and judged and had shit thrown at me and treated like crap because I was a freak. Oh, you're a weirdo. You dress like fucking Halloween freak. I mean, this shit went on and on and on and on. I know Manson went through it too. I mean, if you were around, if you looked like this from the 90s up until it became more common in like 2012, about then, I'd say about 2012 to now, it's become more common. And instead of like going outside and getting harassed, having to prepare myself to have like my armor up against the world, it's been more like, oh, this is nice things people are saying, instead of horrible things and having shit thrown at you, like food and gum and open soda cans and rocks, and just people telling you horrible things about how you're going to hell, and that, like, just going off on you like you're the worst thing that's ever happened, when all you did was walk by. You didn't say anything. You did nothing. You're just evil, and people will just spout and spit and froth at you this horrible shit about how you're so evil and demonic and meh. And that's one of the things that really pisses me off about these people saying, oh, well, just look at him, well, just look at Marilyn Manson. I mean, there's got to be something wrong with him. And I'm like, really? You're going to undo all this stuff that I was starting to, like, people like me were starting to see, like, maybe everybody else isn't so bad. Maybe they're starting to catch on to this, that it's not to judge a book by its cover. This is one of those things we're told over and over. And I don't know why the media is so obsessed with tearing this man down. They like to villainize him. And every time and time again, it has been proved bullshit and wrong and not what they think it is. Like the whole Columbine thing. Like the whole middle America blaming Manson. The thing is that Manson has always even been a little bit more, I think, in a lot of ways closer to someone that would spread the word of Jesus than a lot of these so-called Christians in America. That's my opinion, and there's a lot of reasons I feel that way. Anyways, I'm not trying to get on a religious debate. I just want to say that what pisses me off really bad is her saying that I was a minor. Bitch, you were not a minor. The only thing you were a minor of was being 21 and legally able to go out to drink. You were not a minor in any other way. That's the only way you were a minor. And if you're saying that because that's what makes you feel like you're not lying, we see right through you. And the behavior, the way she can't look people in the eyes, and as soon as when anything uncomfortable, she hasn't practiced, she's blah, 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 blah. She just starts acting really weird. And I can't believe people think, oh, this is how a victim or someone that's been a victim acts. No, it's not. I am a victim of child abuse, child sexual abuse at that. I suppressed my story. I didn't not know that it was there. It happened to me when I was 6 years old. What happened was I was touched by a member of my family when I was 6 years old. And this person's dead now, which is part of the reason I feel okay talking about it publicly. I was going to go on a camping trip, and this person also tried to get my mom to have sex with them. They were a step member of the family. And my mom tried to warn me without telling me the details or what, she told the kid in a way that a kid doesn't need to know, but can still figure out that they need to be careful of this person. And because I was going to be close with them camping and stuff, and I was just going to stay with them. I don't know if camping was necessarily on the agenda, but we did go camping, and it was on the beach, and it was me and my cousin, and then my grandfather and my grandmother. My grandfather isn't my blood grandfather. He was my step grandfather, this person. And he tried to get my mom to have sex with him when he was a kid. When my mom came out about this, and she was like 17 or something, or 16. I don't remember exactly. I want to say she was 17. But when she tried to tell her mom said that she was trying to ruin her happiness. She didn't want her to be happy. And my mom became the black sheep of the family. And so my mom tried to get the fuck out of there. It's part of the reason she joined the military when she was young. And then she got stationed in the same place. But, she always promised she would not be one of those people that doesn't believe her kid. And I knew that. And I wasn't afraid to tell my mom because of that. I'll get into this. Anyways, I'll finish telling you the story. So we're camping, and we went for a walk on the beach. And I remember this clearly. I was 6 years old. So we went for a walk on the beach, and then when we got back to the camp, he lured me into the camper by myself. And I didn't automatically go to this thought of, this is one of those moments that my mom was warning me about, because, she could only say so much without ruining the innocence of a child, and he did a good job of that on his own. But she was trying to protect me. She's trying to look after me and warn me and be careful. But so my cousin, who was a boy, was outside. We had a tent, and they had the camper. And until this point, I was somehow alone in the camper with him, probably to change or something. And he came up to me, and he stuck his hand down my pants and rubbed his hand on my thing and said, "Oh, I just need to make sure that your panties aren't wet because you were walking on the beach." And I knew this was not right. This is not right at all. And I just remember being absolutely terrified, but quiet, and then I don't remember if somebody walked in or something happened where I was able to get away very quickly from him. And the rest of the time I was there, I latched on my cousin, who was the same age as me. We were like 10 days apart or something. I'm like 10 days older than him. We looked like twins. We had the same blonde hair, blue eyes, we looked like little twins. And we were kind of inseparable when we were kids, when we were around each other. And I latched on him. I wouldn't go anywhere without him. I wouldn't even go to the bathroom without him. because I was so freaked out by him doing that. And the next day, I remember I called my mom, and I remember being on the phone and like wanting to tell her so bad. But in the back of my mind, and this is how mature I was for 6 years old. So I had a severely disabled brother that was born when I was 3. And that's when I had to learn what death was and all these things, because my brother was not supposed to live to be a year old, according to doctors. His disabilities were so severe that they thought he was going to die. One of them, which is called holoprosencephaly, is so rare that at the time there was like only 8 people known alive in the world with it, I believe it was. And it's where the brain fails to divide into 2 halves. It's actually where I believe that the mythology of Cyclops comes from. And it's probably from miscarried children that didn't develop fully. And I know it happens a lot in animals too, where the cells don't divide properly. Anyways, he wasn't a Cyclops. But that is what is often caused from it. He did, however, he didn't have a right or left brain from that. He had just the brain stem. And so he had hydrocephalus, holoprosencephaly, cerebral palsy, and he was spastic quadriplegic. And so most people know hydrocephalus is water on the brain. It's what causes people to have the big head thing, which that I think also is kind of where some of the alien mythology, like not mythology, I believe in aliens personally. I just think that there's way too much out there. Anyways, it doesn't have anything to play with it. Anyways, my brother had the hydrocephalus and the cerebral palsy, where cerebral palsy is limited control of your muscle movement. My brother had the most severe kind. So, I knew that my brother relied on the love of my mom and me and everybody, all our family, to keep going. To our dad, our stepmom, eventually our other little brothers, and everybody. Everybody is what kept him going. And I think that if he didn't have the love of his family, particularly me and mom, I don't think that he would have lived to be almost 23 years old. And I think doctors almost let him die several times when I was a kid and when he was little. Like, even Stanford Hospital is supposed to be a great hospital. It hid records from my mom. Anyways, I digress. So I knew in my mind that I thought, if I tell my mom this, she's going to kill this man. She is literally going to kill this man. Like, I knew I was not able to tell her at that point in time. And so, to protect the safety, I knew that there was the safety of my brother's life, and where I was comfortable living with my mom, with the person that really understood me as a person, who I could talk to about anything, that I had to keep the secret from her. And it wasn't until I'm not 100% sure if I told her when I was a teenager. I feel like I did, but I might just be remembering that way. But I know I definitely talked about it with her in my early 20s. And that's when I told other people in the family about it. I just had, and I told her, I said, this is why I didn't tell you, is I was afraid that you would kill him. And one of the last times we saw him, she saw him, he was so frail and sick. He had cancer and couldn't even wipe his own ass. My mom said, I just pitied him. And I realized I could just break him if I wanted to. And he had no power over me anymore. And I was like, wow, that's, you know what I mean? But, so, usually I've never heard of an adult repressing a memory like that. That really only happens in children of sexual abuse. And I remember thinking at times in my life, like, is there something wrong with me? Am I dirty? Did I do something to bring this on? Like, there was a lot of confusing thoughts that I had over the years about it. And this is the most that I've ever opened up and told people about this. Like, I have really good close friends that I never told these details to. I might have told just this happened, but I never told the details of it. I was embarrassed about it. But it's so fucked up that when you're a true victim, in my opinion, especially one who hid it from people because they were afraid of being ostracized by people they love. Also, other parts of the family, seeing what they did to my mom being, treated like the black sheep for a long time, like, because he was cool, he bought beer for her younger sibling, and like, and their friends, and yeah, it's because he was a sicko. There was other stories about him that were floating around that had something to do with his daughter and a procedure she may have had to have. I don't know. I'd believe it. And this guy, one of the last times I saw him, I was about 15. And I remember I purposefully left my swimsuit at my aunt's house like 2 hours away, because they lived out in the desert. And he was trying, Heather, why don't you come in the swimming pool? And I'm like, no. I just remember keeping an eye on him, watching him with my little cousins. And just, I was waiting for him to do something so I could just, I wanted to lash out. I wanted to say stuff. I wanted to say, you're a perv and I know what you did, And I don't know, I really truly don't know if he didn't ever do anything to any of my girl cousins. I find that hard to believe, especially because he was around them more. But when I tried to share with them, I got kind of looked at like, you're a fucking liar. And I'm like, you guys have they always liked me and looked up to me, my cousins, and specifically a particular one. And she kind of gave me this weird look, and I couldn't read it because I don't really know her, how she thinks. So I don't know. I hope that they didn't, but knowing that man, who could say? Who could say? But being someone that is a victim of sexual assault, any way you look at it, and especially as a child, it pisses me off that woman is supposedly speaking for us. And I have also, and I'm going to bring the receipts, I have many articles, and this is one of the things that Evan has said. Look at how he's, if you go back and look at old interviews, he's incriminated himself, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, what you did was she literally, even down to the whole Phoenix symbology, her Phoenix actor, Phoenix, whatever fucking movie bullshit, her documentary where she goes to the FBI for the ongoing Manson case that her and Ashley Gore made up, which, by the way, Manson, if your people are watching, you need to avoid girls named Ashley. They are bad news for you. 3 of them in this one case that we know of. Holy, that's like a curse name for you, my friend. And besides, you've got beautiful, lovely Lindsay, and I'm happy that you've got your woman who stand by you through this. Like, you deserve that, and she does too. You guys are beautiful together, and I hope that you're happy. And it just pisses me off that these people had to come and rain on your happiness. And I can't help but wonder if Evan's jealous, because she may have thought that he was always going to love her and always be there for her, and never, like, whatever she wanted something, which I think she kind of thought maybe she might get a music career out of him. I have a lot of theories about her. It's weird because I tried really hard to be supportive when he was dating her. And I listened to how he talked about her, and I was like, man, he's really head over heels for this girl. But I kept thinking of her as the little girl from Practical Magic, and that kept tripping me out. But then when she started trying to, like, dress like Dita, and I know that Manson did not push that on her. She was trying to be Dita. But Manson even states that she tries to say, oh, he made it's her dress code, blah, blah, blah. There's even an article where he's talking about where where Dita was like saying that, oh, well, she was wearing red lipstick. And he's like, well, I wear red lipstick. Does that mean that, like, hello, you're not the only one that wears red lipstick? And then she got her hair darker and all this stuff. And it's because he was like, she's doing a role for Darren Aronofsky or something. And he asked her to have darker hair. And there's all these little things. There's all these little things that she says to go back and look at his interviews. And I've gone back and looked at them. And I've seen that she's literally used words against him in these things. These things, I think she thinks she's being clever with it. And I'm going to highlight them. And I'm going to show them to you guys. And I'm going to do that in the next thing I do. I just had to get something out of there. I want you to know, I stand with Marilyn Manson. I think that all these women are lying. If you don't believe me, you need to go and watch Carrie's YouTube videos. It's Carys. She has covered all these allegations in details, which is something I want to do. I want to cover his lawsuit in more details with you guys so you can see more of why I think he's got a way better case than these. And it just goes to show more proof that these bitches are lying. He actually has proof when they've had a year and presented no real proof other than hearsay. And just the fact that the way they've coordinated this smear campaign, this lynch mob, it's absolutely sickening. It's even worse than I even thought it originally when it first started. I mean, I knew it was bad, but it went to a whole nother level of bad. And the fact that so many so-called fans turned on him in less than 24 hours because this bitch and these other people said it. Just because one girl and a bunch of other people, so they said, a bunch of other people, it's not a bunch, it's a few other people have said that he did these things. These people were threatened to believe that they wouldn't be protected if they didn't join her on this crusade of being a victim and opening about their victimhood. It's like all of a sudden all these people have these repressed memories that it took more than 10 or 15 years for them to remember when they were already adults. That doesn't make any fucking sense, and they know it. It's bullshit, and it is a witch hunt, and it has been since day one. And you know what? If you don't believe me, that's fine. I think that the truth will out here, and I think that in the long run, we're going to see about that, because I know that there is shit wrong with these girls' allegations. And if you look closely at what the actual details are of it and the way that it's going to come out and everything, I think anybody with common sense will see that these women are lying through their fucking teeth. So check out Carrie's videos. I also have a little thing in my, I have a specific folder I made that I put videos in called I Stand with Marilyn Manson. And I've linked these women's videos in there. Carrie's, I also have Colonel Kurtz. She was one of the first people that I first found. And that's Colonel C, like, you know, the word like Colonel, like the position. And it's it's not C, it's Kurtz. I'll put it up on there. And a few other people, Greta Aurora, who was roped in by one of the Ashleys and Ilma, was said that she was a victim of Manson's, even though she straight out said that she's not a victim. They tried to recruit her to come out as an accuser against him, saying all this bullshit that they like came up with a list of, which Manson has. It's in the day that he put out his lawsuit, 28 pages PDF file. You can download it straight from his Twitter. You can download it straight from his Instagram. And I think they're more damning than anything any of these chicks had said in the last year. And frankly, Evan's interviews I've seen the View one, embarrassing. And I don't know how they can't tell that she's lying. It blows my mind. Her behavior is so crazy in that. And then I finally watched today when she was on, and I'm really upset about this, The Daily Show. I could not believe Trevor Noah bought into her BS too. And then when he asked her about the Manson allegations, she behaved the same way that she did on The View, although she actually she seemed a little bit more rehearsed, but she still did the whole not looking at the thing, and trying to say. One of the things that came out in one of the interviews that was up recently, where they tried to sell this whole thing where they take her to where she met Manson for the first time, and she's putting on this whole act, and even her 8-year-old son goes, "Mom, why are you acting so weird?" From the mouth of babes, huh? Yeah, even her son calls her out on her weird behavior, which if she's this victim of, you would think that he's seen this behavior already in her, especially with these acts getting passed and all this stuff. It just, there's so many things wrong with this story. And just the general demeanor and people. And one of the things in the article, it said that she will compulsively lie about things. That's part of her PTSD. I'm like, what the hell ever, dude? That's some bullshit. That girl is mental, and She also used this whole case, this Manson case, to try to justify why she needs to have full custody of her kid, and also said that Manson threatened her kid, which is bullshit. In fact, when she had to have an abortion when they were together before, this is testified by friends of theirs, he totally supported her. And before she decided to have an abortion, he actually was talking about how he would say that he was the father of the kid, he would adopt the kid, all this stuff, and not let anybody know. He was totally going to support her in this, no matter what her decision was. And she's like, he made me cook for him after. Bullshit. There's no way he did that for you. His biggest crime, seriously, was loving her. Love makes you do crazy things when you're heartbroken. And the craziest thing he did was call her a bunch of times and punish himself by cutting himself when she didn't answer, which he admits was stupid to do. And you know what? She still got back together with him after that and got engaged to him. So I don't buy this bullshit. I think the manipulator in this relationship was Evan. Be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, stay strong. Marilyn Manson is innocent. Hear this, don't assume that I'm talking to you. Yesterday, everything I thought I believed in died, but today is my birthday. Today is my birthday. I don't need you. I'll say it to myself, it doesn't mean I won't need somebody. Anyone with half a soul will hear this and they'll never leave me. If you don't know what forever feels like, I'll show you what it feels like without it. I'll show you what it feels like without it. This time I won't hesitate to kill to protect what I believe in. This time I won't hesitate to kill to protect what I believe in. I can get by now. I'm not really dead, but I really needed someone to save me. Leaving me alone to die is worse than having the guts to kill me. I'll show you what it feels like without it. I'll show you what it feels like without it. This time I won't hesitate to kill to protect what I believe in. This time I won't hesitate what I believe in. Not letting you in won't satisfy me. I'll teach you about loss. Not letting you in won't satisfy me. I'll teach you about loss. Not letting you in won't satisfy me. I'll teach you about loss. Not letting you in won't satisfy me. I'll teach you about loss. Not letting you in won't satisfy me.